What is going on YouTube? My name is Bancroft. Thank you for tuning in. And today we have another Showdown matchup from our local store, Chaotic Good. Like always, just buttons down below. Feel free to click them there for a reason. But today we got Boba Fett taking on Luke Skywalker. Yeah, this is a yellow taking on blue-green. And as a reminder, Boba Fett has the undeployed side. When an enemy unit leaves play, you may exhaust this leader. If you do, ready a resource. And on the deployed side, when this unit completes an attack, if an enemy unit left play this phase, ready up to 2 resources. So pretty awesome there. Luke Skywalker, on the other hand, is more of a shield leader. So on the undeployed side, for 1 resource and as an action, you exhaust this card, give a shield token to a heroic, there we go, unit that you played this phase. And on the deployed side, on attack, you give another unit a shield token. So we're starting out pretty strong with the R2-D2, which allows you just to kind of search the deck, more or less search top card of the deck and see if you like it or not. If you don't, put it bottom of your deck. And then we have a strong start with Boba Fett playing Bodhi. Make sure I say it right this time. So apparently in my last video that this card was in, I was saying Brody instead of Bodhi. Hopefully that's right. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're able to kind of look at the hand and get rid of what looks to be a takedown, which is pretty strong. Going into phase 2, we're skipping ahead to phase 3. I was just trying to catch up on a lot of stuff here. Yeah, phase 4, 5. I must have missed a resupply. That's the only thing I can think of, because when I was looking at the cards, just make sure I was getting anything right. So we're getting a couple attacks out, getting a nice little scry going on here. Camera will be going in and out of being blurry. This was a record from the live stream. Oh man, Seagull the Dave, I think is what the Twitch channel is called. It'll be in the description down below. Check them out. I think they play every Wednesday night. Going into further plays here, we do have the Swoops Racer for 3 resources. You get a 4/3, following up with a Bright Hope, kind of keeping the space side a little bit protected with a Sentinel. And it looks like they chose not to bounce a card back. Having R2, I think, with a shield is just really strong and don't want to risk getting rid of it by accident. So we're starting off with 4 damage to Luke's space, which Luke is playing ECL, Energy Conversion Lab, which means they just go ahead and proc it now, playing Caden to get rid of Bodhi. And as a reminder, Caden is a 4/5, but when he attacks, your opponent you may discard the top card of your opponent's deck. And then for each friendly Spectre unit, you heal 1 damage from your base for each different aspect among the discarded cards. So a little healing there. Waylay, bouncing Bright Hope back to Luke's hand, so he wants to replay that card. He has to, once again, expend the resource for it. But instead, they decide to deploy their leader. I don't think I mentioned earlier, but Luke is a 4/7, so got some good damage going on there. We have the Cartel spaceship coming out. They will fix. He was trying to rest the Luke. He got it mixed up with another card. I don't know exactly what card it was, but instead they will exhaust R2-D2. Luke cleaning up the Swoop Racer. Luke will take a couple damage for that one, but giving the shield to Caden as well as a little bit more protection, and then turn around and giving Luke his lightsaber to fully heal him and give him a shield token. Boba Fett, on the other hand, is being deployed for 4/7. Now, we did have a unit leave play this phase, so he could go ahead and get an attack in and then benefit on readying 2 resources and possibly play another card afterwards. Yeah, so he makes the attack here, put into 2 to 9 damage, and then he turns on and he plays the 7th Fleet Defender, which is a nice little 3/2 with a shield token on play. So we're wrapping up that phase, going into the next one, readying all the units, and then getting our resources set up. But Luke immediately takes care of Boba Fett. Keep in mind, Luke's lightsaber, I think, gives it a +3/+1. Did not pull that card earlier, but it's just really strong in making Luke even more powerful, especially with this shield token, keeping it alive longer. Caden gains another shield token off Luke's heal, but we have the 7th Fleet dealing at least 3 damage to Luke's base. Bright Hope here enters the board once again, protecting the space side from Cartel Spacer. And we got depending on a play here, we're just saying what's the best method. Paying 3 for another 7th Fleet Defender. Just kind of possibly add that pressure for the next phase to Luke's base. Luke getting some damage in finally in, and we have the initiative going to Boba Fett with a fleet lieutenant hitting with Kaden, dealing an extra 2 points of damage, putting the score overall to 9-11. Or not score, but damage. And Boba Fett decided to take a scoop on round 1. They just weren't drawing anything that was beneficial. It was like they were also kind of resourcing things that might have been more important for that round. Going into round 2, we've already done our sideboard, and we got a little bit more knowledge on what each other's playing. So let's get into this round and see what happens. Boba Fett does start with the initiative. And I don't think I mentioned earlier, but these are decks you guys play. Let me know down in the comments what you like about these decks or these particular leaders, and what are you excited about for set 2. We got a Viper drone hitting the board, getting some little knowledge on Luke's side. As Luke plays R2-D2 once again, kind of getting that early kind of scry going on. Giving it a shield token as well. It's a great turn play, I think, for Luke's deck. In the regroup, trying to figure out what to resource on Boba Fett's side. I think just trying to plan out what is the best. It's one of those situations where like you get a really good hand and you go, I don't want to resource any of these cards, but you have to in order to kind of get some momentum going. So we have Viper drone hitting the base for 3. Fleet Lieutenant with Fleet Lieutenant R2 takes out the Viper drone and then gets to scry off that. And like I said, that was just a shield token. So I mean, R2-D2 is perfectly fine still. Paying 3 resources for another sloop racer, and the Luke player decides to take initiative instead of deploying a shield. Going to the regroup, getting the resources set up, and we immediately just kind of take out the sloop rider. Bodhi hits the board, kind of peeking in the hand, seeing what to get rid of. Yeah, that's the only good option. Because as a reminder, Bodhi looks at your opponent's hand and discards a non-unit card from it. So Fleet Lieutenant once again taking out a trade here. Bodhi is a 3/3, and if correct, yeah. So there's a little mishap here. There should be damage on R2 right now. R2 should have 3 points of damage. R2 is a 1/4, so it just makes R2 a 1/1. They just kind of missed that, unfortunately. Deploying Boba Fett here. Waiting on, okay. Getting Fleet Lieutenant to kind of get some damage on the Boba Fett, using its shield token to protect itself. And we have Surprise Attack, allowing Boba Fett to do at least 7 points of damage, but then unfortunately Takedown will finish off Boba Fett in this situation. R2-D2 kind of getting a point onto Boba Fett's base, getting another little scry there. I wonder if that would have changed anything if they would have left the damage there, if he would have just attacked Boba into R2 to get the restain on the resource. But he didn't pay anything, so no, I guess not. Going to the next phase, because we're paying 3 for another Bodhi. Oh, a little bit early. So Luke is still trying to figure out what they are resourcing. A lot of times in best of 3, when especially you're in a time situation, it's kind of like in that mindset, like I gotta play fast because I don't want time to run out. Those happen. But yeah, Bodhi hits the board, getting rid of what looks like to be a resupply. Luke hits the board. See what the Boba Fett player decides to do here. 3 open resources. You could possibly... Oh, no, they pass, and then immediately Luke took the initiative, just kind of take control from here on out. Yeah, it's one of those things where you got to be careful. Like, if you take the pass and your opponent takes initiative, it just ends that phase. Got some counting out some resources here. We are sitting on 6 resources to about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Using fleet unit to take out Bodhi. Boba Fett player paying 4 resources for will be Cunning. and using Cunning to exhaust 2 resources. Exhaust 2 units, and then we're getting rid of a card at random, hitting the regional governor. Very strong play. Echo Base Defender hits the board. A little protection here now. We got a was that Crafty Smuggler? Yeah, like I said, this goes in and out a little bit, but Crafty Smuggler being a 2/2 with Shielded coming into play. We have 8 resources on the Luke side, and it looks to be 7 resources on. No, I think they're still staying at 6. This is an interesting play. So we have Home 1, I think it's what it's called. Yeah, Home 1 hits the board, and when Home 1 enters play, you can play a heroic unit from your discard pile. And it looks like they chose Regional Governor, who is not a heroic unit. Once again, gotta be careful on these plays. That was another misplay on Luke's side. Waylay bouncing Home 1, and then we're kind of just racking up some damage here. Regional Governor, I think when he played Regional Governor, he called Firefly Spray, I think is what it was. Once again, he could have played some of the other cards. That's not one he should have been able to play, unfortunately. But here's a card he could play, definitely. Fleet Lieutenant, hitting the board, allowing Luke to kind of get that extra damage into the base. It is now on Boba Fett's side, trying to decide what to do. The score is currently 11-12, and yes, it should actually be a little bit lower, but the Luke player wasn't adjusting their health after due to Home 1's additional skills, because Home 1 also states where each other friendly unit gains Restore 1, and they just weren't doing it on these plays. Hitting a 7 fleet back on the board. Luke taking the initiative here. And getting another Crafty Smuggler. Going to the next phase, we're sitting at like 9 resources, I think, to so once again, still 6. Boba Fett is not going past 6, but it also depends on what they're drawing. If they don't need to go 6 or higher than 6, don't. Get an early swing of Home 1, putting the score 19-12, because Home 1 does have Restore 2 on its attacks. Boba Fett kind of trying to figure out what to do here. And like I said, these are one of those things where I feel like if we would have put the damage on R2-D2, we could have then probably had taken care of it when the Crafty Smugglers thought we were not getting the scries anymore. We're paying 3 for another Bodhi, kind of peeking the hand, seeing what's important, seeing what's there. Getting rid of U-Wing reinforcements, very strong. But we did see, I think, a redemption in Luke's hand, so we know that's coming up at some point this match. Yeah, redemption hits the board now, and Luke will end up healing 5 points from their base, dealing 5 points of damage to the redemption. And it's very interesting seeing that the 5 points wasn't put on redemption. It's just another, hopefully they get that as a reminder. Luke attacking into the base here, giving a shield token to redemption. Which, as a reminder, redemption also, if I recall, has Sentinel. So, like, Boba Fett has to go through it. Once again, apologize for the blurry screen. The camera, I zoomed into the camera more as a way of kind of getting a better fit on the here, but it just kept going out of focus off and on during their match. Yeah, Boba Fett's player decides to take the loss there. I don't know. Like I said, there were 3 misplays on Luke's side. I don't know how much that would have changed things. Like, if they would have shown damage on R2, would he would have attacked into R2 to save some of the scries? Regional Governor shouldn't have hit the board. I don't know if they had Fire Spray ever in their hand. And then Redemption should have 5 points damage, but we never had enough space units at that point to kind of deal with damage there. But as today's matchup, hope you all enjoy, and that's it. Bye.